The first light of dawn drifts across Naval Air Station North Island, spilling pale gold through the high windows of the briefing room. Everything inside looks sharp enough to pass an inspection. Rows of polished chairs, screens glowing faintly with maps of the Pacific, and the low hum of projectors filling the quiet space. The smell of coffee lingers, cut by the crisp scent of uniforms freshly pressed for another day that promises more routine than surprise. Officers move about in practiced precision, checking insignias, tightening collars, rehearsing confidence. Conversations flow in short, clipped tones. Every laugh sounds slightly forced, every nod too quick. The kind of atmosphere where everyone tries to look ready, but no one wants to stand out. Then the door swings open hard. Rear Admiral Marcus West enters with the stride of a man who expects to be noticed. His presence fills the room like sudden thunder, all confidence and polish. The officers straighten automatically, spines aligned as if drawn by string. West surveys them with a grin that borders on command. "If you can't shine your boots," he says, "you can't run a fleet." Laughter follows on cue, a blend of amusement and obligation. He enjoys it, that sound of deference disguised as humor. At the far end of the room, one officer doesn't laugh. A woman stands by the last row, plain uniformed, no ribbons, no visible rank, just calm eyes fixed on the glowing map. The brass nameplate on her chest reads S. Chen. Her uniform is precise but modest, her posture balanced yet unassuming. She doesn't try to look important, she doesn't need to. West's gaze lands on her. He circles once, curious, assessing. "Well now," he says lightly. "Commander of what? The copy machine?" The laughter returns, louder this time. She doesn't move, doesn't blink, only shifts her attention back to the tactical board, as if the remark never happened. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to Whispered Logs for more true-to-life military stories, and tell us in the comments, where are you watching from today? The meeting begins in West's signature style, half performance, half protocol. The walls come alive with data streams and flight paths. He walks the length of the room like an actor pacing a stage, voice smooth and commanding. Every sentence ending on a note that invites applause. To most officers here, this is standard. They know how to nod at the right moments, how to agree without thinking. They're part of the show. Sarah Chen, though, isn't. She sits quietly near the end of the oak table, a notepad before her and a small folder of mission briefs beside it. Lieutenant Daniel Reyes, a young operations officer seated next to her, slides an updated file across. "Ma'am," he says softly, "latest data's inside." She nods once. Her pen moves slowly, eyes tracing the details with methodical focus. She pauses at one line, sonar inconsistencies, Sector 4. Then again at encryption protocol, Theta 7. Her expression doesn't change, but she taps the corner of the page once, a silent marker. Two officers whisper across the table. "Probably intel or admin," one mutters. "No ribbons, no ops badges, must be new." A quiet snicker. Not cruel, just careless. The sound of people who think they already understand the hierarchy of the room. Captain Nora Hayes hears it, but doesn't join in. She's been around long enough to read subtle signals, the kind of stillness that comes from confidence, not fear. And that's what she sees in Chen. The woman isn't intimidated, she's calculating. Her stillness feels like the moment before a move on a chessboard. Hayes studies her, the way her hand rests near her pen, the faint trace of an old silver ring on her thumb, worn smooth by years of wear. There's a faded crest on it, barely visible. It doesn't look decorative, it looks earned. West keeps talking. Charts flash, numbers shift, the smell of burnt coffee grows stronger. To everyone else, the Admiral's plan looks brilliant. To Chen, it looks fragile. He gestures toward the digital map. "Gentlemen and lady, this is how we'll secure Sector 4. Every head turns to the projection. The map glows blue and green, showing a wide arc of the Pacific defense grid. Chen's eyes narrow slightly. She sees what others miss, a distortion along the lower boundary where sonar reflections curve inward unnaturally. A blind spot, small, dangerous. She draws a single red line on her notepad, crossing the area. At the far end, a Master Chief raises a hand. "Sir, we've still got an old network channel open. Theta 7. Should we terminate it before the drill?" Chen doesn't look up. "That channel's obsolete," she says, voice calm. "Theta 7 was compromised 2 years ago." The room falls quiet for a beat. Then a few officers chuckle under their breath. West turns, half amused, half annoyed. "Oh, and who decided that, Commander?" I did, she replies evenly. More laughter. West smirks. Next time, send us a memo before rewriting Navy protocol. She doesn't answer, just sets her pen down beside her notes and waits. Minutes later, the room's rhythm shatters. Every device in the chamber, tablets, terminals, phones, vibrates at once. A sharp triple tone blares through the speakers. The projector screen turns crimson. Alert, priority network failure, Sector 4 flashes across the board. The air thickens. What the hell is this? West snaps. Lieutenant Rise scrolls through incoming feeds. Sir, the Pacific sonar relay just dropped out. Check it again. No need, Chen says quietly. She rises, gaze fixed on the glowing red map. That pattern, I know it. West glances over, irritation masking uncertainty. You've seen this before? Yes, she says. And if I'm right, your system isn't failing. It's being exploited. You're saying we're under attack? She shakes her head once. No, Admiral. I'm saying your defenses were never sealed to begin with. Murmurs ripple across the table. West tries to reassert control. Master Chief, isolate the node. Reset the relay. It won't matter, Chen replies. Theta 7 is still active. You can't close the door when the hinges are gone. The silence that follows feels heavier than the alarm. The red screen flickers, stabilizes, then returns to blue, but half the grid remains dark. West's tone sharpens. Since you seem to know everything, Commander, explain. Chen steps closer to the display, tracing a faint line between relay nodes with the tip of her pen. You've got a blind sector here. That's where the breach began. And it's spreading. West folds his arms. And you know this because? She looks at him steadily. Because I built the encryption system before you modified it. The room goes silent. Every officer turns toward her. Reyes checks his monitor. The data confirms what she said. Every sequence matches her claim. West blinks, trying to recover. You expect me to believe that? You don't need to, Chen says. Just fix it before the red turns black. Officers start typing frantically. Keys clatter, orders fly. For the first time, West doesn't interrupt. Outside, sunlight cuts across the windows, landing directly on Chen as she oversees the rapid repairs. The contrast is sharp, her calm presence against the chaos around her. Captain Hayes watches silently, realizing that this woman's authority isn't rank-based. It's competence, the kind that doesn't ask permission to lead. Moments later, the system stabilizes. The red zones fade, the grid flickers green again. West exhales half relief, half disbelief. Well, Commander, he says, forcing a grin, seems you've saved my meeting. Chen simply nods and sits back down. But the silence that follows isn't the same as before. It's charged, respect mixed with unease. As the briefing adjourns, Reyes lingers. He watches her gather her notes with the same quiet precision, the silver ring catching the light again. There's something about her stillness that feels heavier now, like it carries the memory of storms no one else in the room has weathered. That night, long after the others leave, Reyes remains at his console. The base is quiet, corridors glowing with dim security lights. He keeps thinking about the sonar blind spot Chen had marked. Curiosity wins. He runs a deep diagnostic. At first, the system looks clean. Then he sees it. Faint traces of transmission through the old Theta 7 channel. Data whispers buried under static. Outbound signals that shouldn't exist. Someone has been using the obsolete line for weeks. He calls Commander Cole Hartman in operations. Sir, you should see this. Within 20 minutes, Hartman stands over his shoulder, expression hardening as he reads the logs. You're telling me Theta 7 is still transmitting? Yes, sir, Ray says, and it's leaking. Hartman straightens. Wake the Admiral. By the time West storms into the control center, the place is alive with activity. Screens flicker, officers rush between terminals. What's going on? He demands. We just cleared this system. Before anyone can answer, the door opens again. Sarah Chen steps in. Same calm expression, same unadorned uniform. She doesn't look surprised, only ready. She glances at Reyes' monitor, reading the code flow in seconds. Switch all active channels to Omega-3 encryption, she orders quietly. Lock down your comm relays within 72 hours. West bristles. You're not in command here, Commander. Chen turns to him, voice level. Then act like someone who is. The room freezes. Even the humming electronics seem to pause. West's mouth opens, but no words come. Chen turns back to the console. Start re-encrypting. Transfer priority communications to secure lines, now. Hartman nods to Reyes. Do it. In minutes, the room transforms, commands flowing fast, screens updating, the grid stabilizing under her direction. She doesn't raise her voice. She doesn't need to. Hours pass. Then a new alert appears. Civilian distress signal, cargo vessel Prosperity Star off Okinawa. Its beacon flashes erratically. No response to hails. Reyes frowns. That's inside the same grid we patched, Hartman confirms. Signal interference matches Theta 7's frequency. They're using your compromised line, Chen says calmly. Someone's hiding in your blind zone. West crosses his arms. We don't have confirmation of that. You don't need confirmation, she replies. You need action. She starts assigning tasks with crisp precision, dispatching drones, redirecting intercept aircraft, ordering encryption reroutes. No one hesitates now. Orders move through the chain faster than ever. Within minutes, the rescue plan takes shape on the board. Fluid, flawless. West stands by the doorway, watching her orchestrate the entire operation like someone who's done it many times before. You've done this before, he says quietly. Chen doesn't look up. A few times. Under whose command? She pauses for a beat. The room stills. No one dares to speak. By dawn, the first drone feeds confirm what she predicted. The Prosperity Star was boarded during the blackout. Chen coordinates the Navy intercept through the new secure channel, cutting off the hostile transmission and restoring control before sunrise. When it's over, she doesn't celebrate. She just checks the data again, ensuring no traces remain. Reyes watches her and realizes she doesn't lead for praise. She leads because it's what she knows how to do when everything's falling apart. The officers who had laughed earlier move with new silence, carrying the awareness that real command doesn't need to shout. The sun hasn't risen yet, but the command center glows like daylight. Screens cast pale blue reflections across tired faces, every officer still wired from the night's chaos. The hum of processors and the faint buzz of headsets fill the air. Coffee sits untouched beside cooling terminals. Rear Admiral Marcus West stands near the observation glass, watching dawn break over the Pacific. His shoulders are stiff, pride balanced on the edge of realization. Behind him, Commander Sarah Chen reviews the encrypted logs, her movements slow and exact, like someone who's done this too many times to hurry anymore. Lieutenant Reyes returns from the comms deck, headset still around his neck. All secure channels re-established, ma'am. Theta 7 has been completely purged. Chen nods. Good. Reroute the command archive into off-site storage. Delete every temporary key from this system. Yes, ma'am. West finally turns. You've effectively rewritten my security grid overnight. Chen meets his gaze. I restored it to what it was supposed to be. He studies her in silence, unsure whether to thank her or feel challenged. For years, no one had ever spoken to him that directly, certainly not someone without the metals to back it up. Yet there's no arrogance in her tone, just precision. Captain Nora Hayes steps forward. Sir, the intercept team confirms the Prosperity Star crew is safe. 2 intruders detained, both carrying falsified Navy transponders. The room exhales. For the first time in hours, relief ripples through the ranks. West looks at Chen again, something softer in his expression now. You knew they'd find them. I knew they'd try to hide where no one was watching, she replies. That's what blind zones are for. Silence again, but not the same kind as before. This one carries respect. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to Whispered Logs for more true-to-life military stories, stories that reveal the unseen side of leadership and loyalty. By noon, a closed-door debrief begins. The conference table looks smaller now, as if the weight of the morning has shrunk the room. West sits at the head, no longer the performer from yesterday. His voice carries less flair, more gravity. Around him sit a dozen officers, Reyes, Hayes, Hartman, and Chen among them. He clears his throat. This room holds classified clearance only. What happened last night doesn't leave these walls. No one argues. He gestures to Chen. Commander Chen, you've got the floor. She doesn't stand, just opens the folder in front of her, revealing clean notes and precise sketches of the data breach. The compromise originated from within, she begins. Someone on the contractor side used your outdated Theta 7 line to loop false readings into the sonar grid. It's been happening for at least 40 days. A ripple of unease spreads through the officers. Roy's 40 days? We never saw it. You wouldn't, Chen says. The code masked itself as maintenance pings. The attacker didn't need access to control systems, just the logs. Hayes leans forward. So they could see everything we saw. Every patrol, every ship movement. Chen nods once. Every decision you made. West exhales sharply, rubbing his temple. You're telling me the Pacific Fleet's defense plan was an open book? Yes, Admiral, she says quietly. And if I hadn't been here yesterday, it would have stayed that way. The words hang heavy. No one looks at him. Hartman shifts uncomfortably. How did you know where to look? I recognize the pattern, she replies. Same type of breach I encountered years ago when I led a security task force under Joint Command. West looks up sharply. You were part of Joint Command? She closes the folder. Briefly. Why leave? Because sometimes the people you protect don't want to be reminded how vulnerable they are. The line lands harder than she intends. West glances down, pretending to check his notes. For a long moment, the room is still. Finally, Hayes breaks the silence. Commander, why were you even reassigned here? You're not listed in any current roster. Chen slides her ID badge across the table. The logo on it isn't standard Navy. It bears the quiet mark of an intelligence liaison office, the kind that rarely admits it exists. I wasn't reassigned, she says. I was sent to audit your network after your system flagged irregularities last month. West blinks. You were investigating me. I was investigating the breach, she corrects, not you. The distinction hangs like a blade. West leans back, his face unreadable. For the first time, he looks less like an admiral and more like a man realizing how close he came to failure. Hours later, the room is empty again. Just West and Chen remain. He stands by the window, watching aircraft taxi across the tarmac below, lines of motion beneath a vast, indifferent sky. You embarrassed me today, he says quietly. I protected your command, she replies. He half smiles. Same thing, sometimes. She studies him for a moment. You're not the first leader I've seen lose sight of what power really means. He glances over. And what does it mean to you? She thinks for a long time before answering. It means carrying the weight so others don't have to, even when they never thank you for it. West turns back to the glass. That sounds lonely. It is, she says softly, but it's necessary. He doesn't respond, just watches a carrier roll down the runway and lift into the morning haze. Days pass. The crisis fades from headlines that never mention it. Systems are restored, reports filed, medals drafted, though none of them will bear Sarah Chen's name. Reyes watches her pack her documents in a small black case. You're leaving already? I was never stationed here, she says. He hesitates. Ma'am, with respect, why stay invisible? People deserve to know what you did. She smiles faintly. Visibility invites ego. Ego invites mistakes. I don't like either. Hayes approaches from behind holding an envelope. The Admiral asked me to give you this. Chen takes it, opens it without ceremony. Inside is a letter, unsigned but unmistakable. For what it's worth, thank you. She folds it once, tucks it into her case, and nods. He's learning. Hayes chuckles softly. He's lucky you walked into that meeting. No, Chen replies, eyes on the horizon through the open hangar doors. He's lucky someone still believes in the system enough to fix it. The War Command Center hums like a heart. Walls of screens, global feeds, endless chatter. Rear Admiral Marcus West steps inside, flanked by aides. He's sharper now, less performative, more aware of what he doesn't know. He moves to his station, opens his briefcase, and pauses. Inside lies a small metal token, the faint insignia of the Intelligence Liaison Office. No note, just the symbol. He closes his hand around it, understanding. When the first alert comes, a signal flicker off the coast of Guam, he doesn't wait for applause, doesn't perform. He issues quiet, precise orders. No speeches, no ego. And this time, every officer in the room moves with focus. The new encryption holds. The breach doesn't return. In the far corner, Captain Hayes glances toward the monitor where Chen's name flashes once in the system log, a residual signature from her protocol. Then it vanishes again, leaving only a clean record and a silent code, Protocol S-47, Guardian. She never left her name behind. Just a safeguard. Weeks later, in a quiet apartment overlooking the harbor, Sarah Chen reads a report stamped Classified Resolve. She closes it, sets it aside, and takes out a letter, one written in the Admiral's unmistakable script. You were right. Leadership isn't control. It's stewardship. I learned that from the officer no one noticed. For the first time, she smiles. Not out of pride, but peace. Outside, the ocean glimmers beneath the sunset, vast, unguarded, yet watched over all the same.